Hi, everyone. I'm so excited to be here again this morning. Did everybody bring their nice warm drink or their nice cold drink? Barbara doesn't like hot drinks. I do. I drink them even in the summer. So yeah, it's a thing. It's a thing. But we wanted to kind of do a follow up to last week's show. Labor Day was it was hard to fit it in. We ran out of time to, not keep you on here all day long. So we want to go back and kind of visit some more. Plus, Barbara made the comment. She said, Carol, you were looking down through that half of that show. And I was looking for this. Well, actually, I was looking for a different one than this. But this is a picture of my backyard. So when I tell you that,
Yeah,
there's no need for me to go to the lake, that I am at the lake, that's literally off my porch.
right.
And I have a
And
better
it's a beautiful porch.
well, and I have a better picture.
Thoroughly enjoyed sitting out there with her chicken.
I have a better picture of it than this. My favorite one, I don't know if you can see, but there's a railing all the way around my porch. Let me see. There we
Yeah.
go. And I have one where I was out there having my quiet time one day and had my coffee cup sitting on the rail instead of on the table. And just I love it because it's just the coffee cup and the lake. But
Yeah.
why go off? And like I said, spend time in a tent in the hot and somebody 5 feet away blasting bad music or their opinion of good music, and and yeah, not we actually live above a big area where people take their RVs and stay, and we had some friends that took theirs down, and so we went down and visited with them for a while. And I mean, people were driving through there. Well, y'all know Becky, she was been on our Thoughtful Thursdays, Becky Miller, but people were driving through her area. There were dogs running through their area, kids running through their area, and they have their dog with them. They're trying to train her and keep her quiet when people are kind of just almost walking in their door. And so, it's like, no, I'll sit up here on my nice quiet porch where not many people are ever what used to we had lots of people up here when my boys were young. We had a blowout on the 4th of July. We have had when we traveled and ministered, we went once a month with a group of people into an area and did a whole weekend seminar and met with them every other Monday. But uh, in August every year for many years, we had all of that group up. And I think the most we've had here overnight, we had 45 people as overnight guests
Yeah.
here at our house
And
before.
she has the room to do it. Mm.
Well, they weren't all in beds at that number, but I think my number used to in beds was something like 14. So yes, we can accommodate. So
Mhm.
but our kids are grown. Some of them are well, one of them is out of state now. And we don't do the big blowouts anymore. And so the lake did dry up back in 2014, 2013, 14, 15. There was a bit of a drought. And this lake is 15 miles long, 100 feet deep. What you see, it's about 80 feet deep, what you're seeing out there on when it's full, and a half mile wide. And it dried up except for just this little spot up by the dam. And so it was hot and dry and dirty. So we kind of got out of the habit of having all our family and friends up on the 4th. The beauty is, we were talking about fireworks last week. We can sit on our porch and watch the 4th of July fireworks over the lake. And they go out on an island in the lake where if fire caught, which happens a lot around here or can happen, and it won't go very far because it's right there on the island. And so they go on that island and they shoot off the fireworks, and we get to
Mhm.
watch them over the water and reflecting in the water. It's really cool. And we're right there on our porch. Yeah. Right there on their porch with, we do cobbler and ice cream and all kinds of fun things to do that on the 4th. And our neighborhood there are times that we'll go up on our roof and watch because everybody around us, I don't spend money on fireworks because I think it's kind of a waste, but I certainly enjoy everybody else's money. So anyway, you can go up and see them 360 around us, except on the lakes, the lakeside,
Mhm.
except that's the city that does them. But I mean, amazing fireworks show. Some of the neighbors do fireworks show that are as big or better than when I was a kid at the stadium.
Right,
So
right.
it's gotten crazy what goes on with
Well,
fireworks.
it's like last weekend, I went to the fireworks at the town next to us.
Right.
And they were absolutely amazing. And for Labor Day, because they themselves, because so many places have them for July 4th, which is what we're talking about, which is, you mentioned that all the things that are all the ones that went around you.
Mhm.
But Maple Park, Illinois, shout out to Maple Park, they do their Founders Day fair. And I mean, last weekend, I mean, we've had some comments about that we have a softball tournament and we have toilet bowl races and, and we have a little fair. And
We
there
need
was
to
a
post a
craft show. And
picture
of
of the
course,
toilet bowl races in our feed here.
yeah, we're going to put that. And so it was like, we had such a good time, the parade and the parade wasn't about floats, but it was about the antique cars.
Oh yeah,
Oh, the
that's
antique
gotten to be a
cars
big
came,
deal. Yeah.
and the Corvette Club and the
Mhm.
antique fire engines. I mean, our towns are old, and we have still some of the old ones around that are from the early days that have people have restored and kept, and that's what we'll and so that you'll see that you can go back and look at the pictures. And it's just amazing the things but it was so much fun. And then we had, of course, the fireworks, and as I said, that they had changed the direction of where we were supposed to be pointing, and Betty and I were like, okay, yeah, we're going the wrong way, they're behind us, we need to turn around. And so but even that was fun because we weren't the only ones that had to do it. It was like, so we didn't feel like we were left out. But it was fun. But on Labor, so the thing is, what did you do on Labor Day? For myself, we did that on the weekend, Labor Day weekend. So on Monday, when Monday came around, Carol and I did our show,
Yeah.
but then I did some worky stuff because I had celebrated and taken my time off, did the friend thing and did the family thing, and then Monday was kind of a worky day for me, and it was very fun. I got so much done because the rest of everybody was busy doing stuff that they wanted to do, that was, like the barbecue and all of that stuff, but I had already done that, so I had the house to myself. But I did do laundry. I did one load of laundry. But
Only
that was my Labor Day. Well, I
you
had done the
labored.
rest yesterday. I
You
did some of it
labored on
yesterday.
Labor Day.
I labored on Labor Day. And but it was such a fun thing. Such a fun thing. And when you have the house to yourself, all I did was take care of the guinea pigs and my dog and cat. So
So
other than
was
that, it
everybody
was a
else out
great
of
Labor
town
Day.
or just gone for a day?
Everybody else was gone down to the campsite. So it was perfect. Perfect.
Yeah. Yeah. And
So
that
great.
there's something to be said about having a house to ramble around in all by yourself. Uh,
Yes.
and like Barbara said, I have some space here. Uh, and when you count the party barn, I have a lot of space here. And she hadn't even seen all of it. So
Oh,
there is the downside is somebody's got to clean it every now and then. Not that often, like the basement. The basement does not get dusty and dirty like the upstairs does because we don't have windows in our basement. It's an enclosed
right.
basement.
Yeah.
So we don't have and there were so many fires in Colorado and stuff like that this last year
Yeah.
that we got and New Mexico burned for months. Angel Fire, New Mexico, and Red River and stuff.
Mhm.
Colorado burned for months. California
Yeah,
burned for months. We
California
were
burns
getting
for.
all the smoke and the ash from that, and it was very difficult to keep things even dusted. Plus, we're in a dusty, dry area for the most part.
Mhm.
We got a
Yeah,
surprise rain the other day,
right.
Friday week ago, and that was a real blessing. And it kind of was just here. It started up north, came down here, and dumped everything right on our property.
Yeah,
We got an 1.32 inches in about an hour, hour and a half, which is
right,
unheard of for this part
right.
of the country. And I checked the Mesonet sites. That's what the colleges here put up to measure things for their classes. And others, I mean, the one just a half a block away was 1.10. It was that big of a difference in half a block. And then the ones even in the nearest city
Yeah.
were 0.12. We got it.
Hmm.
I'm so excited.
Yeah,
My garden is
right.
going, oh, this is
Yeah,
wonderful. And the chickens are going, oh, this is
exactly.
so good.
Right.
And my
You know,
husband is
and
happy.
it does, isn't that right? And but does that motivate you? I mean, that's what this show is about. You know, just all about our lives and how we motivate each other. We get together and do the fun we do, because if you're not if we're not motivated if you're not motivated to do something, are you going to do it, or is it stressing you out? So one of the things for me this week, and it's been a couple of weeks, because I mentioned it kind of last week, that it was like, oh yike, I've been doing a couple of things that I realized that I shouldn't be doing, because they're not my gifting. And that's one of the things. So if you are you yeah, go, if you missed last week, go back and listen to it. And to just where we talk about, what are you doing? Are you doing something that's motivating to you? Or are you trying to do because you think somebody else is doing it? Or that like Carol talked about, that she had volunteer written across her forehead. Are you caught up in that? Because that can sap your motivation. That can sap what you're doing.
And if it's tiring to you,
Yes,
it keeps you
exactly.
from being working in your giftings.
Yeah,
And so that's one of the things it said, God gives each of us gifts,
right.
and if the eyeball is trying to be a foot, it's going to get
Exactly.
some splinters and rocks in it, and that's
Right.
not comfortable. And so
Right.
you've got to let the foot do what they're doing and let the eyeball do what it's supposed to do, because we're
Mhm.
all to be fitted together in the body of Christ. I mean, we pull no bones here about where we stand, and you hear me talk about spiraling up or spiraling down. That's your choice. And if you're an eyeball trying to walk on the gravel, you're going to be
Right.
spiraling down because your attitude's going to be stinky.
Right.
My mom used to say that, did your optic nerve get hooked to your backside? She used a different
Yes.
word. Uh, but
Right.
she
Exactly.
said, because you have a real SHITTY outlook. She would ask my
Right.
dad that, because, but think about it. If your outlook is like that, maybe you're trying to be a colon and you're
Right.
an
And you
eyeball.
right. And you're trying to do what somebody else, you're trying to do your job in somebody else's gifting.
Yes.
Are you comparing yourself to someone else?
Yes.
And I
Or
know that
envying them their gift.
or, or envying, right. And you know what, and we've talked about it before, but sometimes I truly believe that when things come up, they come up for a reason. Was not kind of what we planned on talking about, but it's come up. So therefore, sometimes,
Somebody
like,
needs to hear it.
somebody needs to hear
Maybe
it.
us.
Quit comparing yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, and lots of times the things that I talk, quit comparing where you are in your business, where you are in your life, where you are in your finances, Where are you? Are you comparing yourself to somebody else? Because, Carol and I, we've talked about it many times, and that's the spiraling up and spiraling down. Are you comparing yourself to somebody on Facebook that you're only seeing the top 5% of what they're doing?
Their
You're
best of
not
their life. They
seeing.
don't put the garbage up.
They're not putting it. Carol and I tend to put up our garbage. So I'm going to tell on myself a little bit. Last week, because we have to go back and look at our shows just to make sure that they're up correctly. And the first thing I looked at when I went back and looked at it, I said, I looked like a ghost. What happened to my lighting? And that's exactly what happens. We are so critical of ourselves.
Mhm.
So, Barbara, what happened to your lighting? So my goal for this was to figure out what happened to my lighting. Oh, well, and you know what? I tend to, I don't know if this is you, but do you tend to complicate things? You think it has to be so difficult when it's something that could be so easy?
Mhm.
Guess what it was? The light sensor, not the light sensor, the light level on my computer itself was too dark. So it was too dark. Then it went to being too light, so I looked like a ghost. So this week it was like, all right, Barbara, experiment, see where it is. So I had to turn up the light in front of me, but put a filter on it, and then turn up the actual lighting on my computer. So now I look like I actually have some color. I'm not a ghost, but it goes with
Kept pinching her cheeks last
I was
week.
kept pinching my cheeks going, why do I look so pale? And my lipstick wasn't right and just everything. And of course, are we critical of ourselves?
Well, and sometimes we have to criticize each other, and you need
And
those friends. She said, Carol, you weren't looking at the screen. You were looking down at something for so long. I was looking for those pictures. Actually, I was looking for a different picture. Somehow or another, it's not in my phone anymore. So I kept looking and looking and looking, and I had to go find some pictures of my backyard. Uh, yeah, I mean, it is
yeah,
what it is. And
and
so, we have to have those people that will say, you
yeah,
need to change this, you need to change that.
yeah,
But they need to do it in a way that's kind, which she
okay,
did,
right,
but kind and such as that. But we need those people in our lives. We
right,
need people in our lives that will speak truth to us. And
right.
fortunately, Barbara and I both have a joint community that we're a part of, that they are
Oh,
second to none. I have never known a company's culture to be like this particular
right.
culture. And I know a big part of it comes from the person that does a lot of our calls, but it also is from the top of the company down. I mean, I've never known, and totally based on Jesus from the very top down, and makes no bones about it, that
Yeah,
that from the very owner founder all the way down,
right,
that if you don't have that divine covering,
right.
you're out in the rain. He doesn't say that, but you're out in the rain if you don't have that covering. I
Yeah,
liken it a lot of times to an umbrella. And if you are walking with Jesus and you are under that umbrella doing what he says to do,
right.
you're
What you're
protected from
called to
the
do.
rain.
Do what
Yeah,
you're called to do.
what you're called, what the word says and all of that. You're under that umbrella. But if you think, oh, I'm going to go do it on my own, and you go, like if I try to go fulfill Barbara's calling, my backside's sticking out from under the umbrella and it's getting wet, and I don't like it. And I start grumbling and griping. And then that makes me get more and more out of the umbrella because I'm not being thankful and grateful. And so here I am
Right,
standing out in the rain, half of me thinking, this rain, da, 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 da. Of course, I mean, I hate to use the word rain because we love it here, but
right,
you get it. It's like, why am I getting wet? Why, God, you're just not taking care of me because I'm getting wet. No, you're probably standing halfway out of the umbrella. So
right,
go back to the scriptures.
right.
Go back. Read Deuteronomy 28, the blessings and the cursings. That
Yes.
is, oh my goodness, black and white.
Yeah.
I personally tell everybody I know to read Psalm 91 out loud
Yes.
every day in the first person. I
Right.
abide in the secret place. Okay,
Yes.
so that you put your eyes on
Put
it.
it in the
Don't-
first person.
yes, and put your eyes on it. Don't try to quote it from memory if you've done it for years, because it was just like, okay, the biggest misquoted scripture I think on the planet is the love of money. Okay, everybody says money is the root of all evil. Well,
Money is
no,
the, yeah.
it's not. Money is needful to do commerce in our day and life. Uh, Wealth is a blessing
Money
from
is a
God.
tool.
Money, yeah,
Yeah.
money is a tool. It's neither good or evil. Okay. So it's something, we are blessed to be a blessing.
Yeah.
So if you are blessed, you need to give and you need to bless others with your blessing. But people quote it as money is the root of all evil. But the true quote is the love of money is the root of all evil. So
Right.
put your eyes on the scripture, no matter how much you think you know it, put your eyes on it daily. And your
Yeah.
life will change. Just that one little step. If you would take 5 minutes a day to put your, or even 2 or 3 minutes a day,
Yeah.
Psalm 91, Deuteronomy 28, but put your eyes on the scripture. Psalm 46, be still and know that I am
But I'm
God.
God.
Okay, put your eyes on those scriptures and your life will start circling up. And you don't have to change anything else. Just put your eyes on those scriptures each and every day. And all of a sudden you'll look back and go, oh, I think I turned a corner there. I
Yes.
think that there was a
Right.
change.
Right. One of the things for me is Jeremiah 33:3. When you are looking for, what am I supposed to be doing? What am I, what's my purpose? You're getting all bent out of shape, and we all do it. You're not alone in this. Been there, done that.
Mhm.
However, we also have a way to get an answer. And in Jeremiah 33:3, it says, call on me and I will answer and tell you wonderful things that you don't know.
Yes. Yes.
Oh, wow. You might not know it right now, but if you stop and take that moment to just reflect and go inward, because your heart knows. Your brain might not know, but when you stop and get that motivation of to sit quietly and listen to what your heart is saying,
Mhm.
oh, it's huge.
Well,
It's huge.
yeah, I
And it will
used to have a big mirror in my, when we had an apartment during the drought. We had an apartment in town. We still had our house here, but we had an apartment. It was so much fun. I got to decorate it start to finish. It's really cool. Totally different than the lake house. I'll have to show you pictures, Barbara, so you can see the difference. But I had a big mirror, and on it I had Jeremiah 29:11. I know the
yeah,
plans I have for you,
I know the
saith God,
plans I have for
plans
you.
for good and not for evil, to give you an expected end. Well, that right there. And then right after that, he says, if you don't know what those plans are, ask me. That's
Ask
all
me.
in Jeremiah.
Ask
It's
him.
great. But put
Oh,
things like that on your walls so that you can see them, so that you can know them, so that keep, it says in the word, to keep it before your eyes always. That means at all times. So put some scriptures on your wall. It's
right,
definitely motivating. I even have on my ringtone, it's a
right,
song that,
right,
keeping my mind stayed on you. And it's a song by Keith Moore.
right.
And it took me
That's
forever.
good.
I had heard the song, but I didn't have a clue where to find it. But I love it because every time my phone rings, I hear that. And so I'm like, oh, yeah.
Right. Yeah. One of the ones I have on my alarm is, this is my story. This is my song.
Mm-hmm.
Praising my Savior all day long. And
Yes.
so if you're this show is about business, but it's about life. But
Mhm.
so if you want your life to be the best ever life that you have, if you want your business to be the best ever, you know,
Well,
you
we
might
have a
want to
friend.
listen.
Yeah, we have a friend, and he says, his mother-in-law sat him down when he was a young 20 something and first married.
Yeah.
And she said, you want to know how to be successful in business always. And he said, how? She said, it's foolproof always. And she said,
What's the secret?
make Jesus your business partner. He's got a track record second to none. He has never failed. Never. So, and that doesn't mean just a token, oh, you're my business partner. It's like, no, you go to him with questions, you go to him with decisions. You bring him into your conversation and into your life daily. And
Right.
you can't
I start my day that way.
You can't fail.
Lord, what do you have for me today?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's awesome.
I know we've been on our soapbox today, but I think somebody needed to hear that.
And you know what? The thing is, you might not believe it. You might be listening to this and going and saying, oh, well, that's fine for you guys. But it's a question away. Help.
Well, and you know what? Companies always talk about money back guarantee. Give Jesus a try. He's good.
Yeah.
He'll give you a money back guarantee.
Money back guarantee.
If you are unhappy, you can have your money back because he never fails. So I know we've been kind of on a tangent today, but I think
it's all
hear it. Yeah. I think things are getting very dark out there. They are going to get darker. If you have not watched our preparation videos about what do you do if it's hot and there's no air conditioning, what do you do if the grid goes down, we need to make one, and I've mentioned it before, we need to get this done, of one, what do you do if the grid goes down and it's winter? How do you stay warm? What do you do? And there are some really good practical things that anyone can do. So, and I mean, I'm in the panhandle of Texas. We had a big snowstorm years ago when I had my mom.
I'm in near Chicago.
And I was in my office and I called Keith. I said, I'm getting ready to come home. And my mom was up there and was up here and couldn't get out. He says, no, this is before it got bad where I was. And he said, because there's, 45 miles. He said, no, you stay where you are. You can't even move around the neighborhood. Do not get out. And so I did. And fortunately, I had a little room in my office that, it was the makeup room for the models. So it was a sizable room, but it had a little futon couch and stuff in it for the parents to sit on while, if they were waiting during a photo shoot. And so I, and I had at my office, I had kerosene light. I had a little propane, little tiny thing. It was just a little thing, but a propane thing that would light, another one that would heat, just in case, because the grid did go down sometimes, with the ice on trees breaking the lines. But that year I had some students who live in the little towns around, and they fix the big town and then the little towns kind of go on. Some of them were without power for 2 weeks.
Oh, yes.
That was common when Keith was growing up way out in the middle of nowhere on the plains. But this was in the 90s and in the 2000s, 2 weeks with no power. Which, oh my stars, the 90s and 2000s, that was 20 years ago.
Yes.
Oops. Seems like yesterday to me.
Yeah. And I'm from Montreal.
Yeah.
And there were times that there was power then, and they didn't have it for 6 and 8 weeks.
Oh my.
No.
So we'll do a show on some of the things that we know to do and everything, and we'll get that up for you soon, because we're coming into winter.
Because it's fall
right now. Yeah, we're fall's right around the corner, the 21st. So that's something that we need to realize, that we are right there, and we want you to be prepared. We don't want it to catch anybody out, off kilter. So, we know something, we know some tips and tricks, and we will be more than glad to share them, and we will get that up hopefully this week sometime, that we can get that up.
All righty. Everybody.
Oh, we didn't introduce ourselves. For anybody new, I'm Carol.
Oh, we never did.
I have Life by Design, and I help you to live the second half of your life better than the first. So go find me. And, you know, the easiest way to find me is to text wellness to 855-476-4845. Text wellness to 855-476-4845. And you can see all the things I can do that I do. And there's a free gift on the front page for you. So Barbara, you want to tell them how to get a hold of you?
Yeah, you can, get out on, most of the places that you can get me is on LinkedIn or on Facebook. But you can get my bit.ly link and we'll put it in the chat, but my bit.ly is bit.ly and it's Life Training Today. And you can see my Aging Gracefully page. And I've made a couple of little tweaks to it, which I'm excited about, and some other things that are coming down the pike, which are going to be great. So you know what? Yeah. You can live your best life ever.
Yes, yes. And we want to
And have the
do that.
mental, physical, and financial fitness to enjoy it.
Yes. Yeah.
Have a good one.
Okay. We'll see y'all next week.